In the first quarter of this year alone, Nigeria imported a total of 112,480 metric tons of palm oil.
Nigeria's annual consumption is put at 2.4 million metric tons annually, but it currently produces between 1.7 to 1.8 million metric tons. Now, the National Palm Produce Association of Nigeria says the importation and illegal smuggling of palm oil is making local producers lose $500 million annually. The oil palm sector in Nigeria has witnessed a downturn, with Indonesia and Malaysia leading in the global production. But many are now calling for a repositioning of the sector as part of efforts to diversify the economy. Joining me now is the Chief Executive Officer, Bama Farms, Wale Oyekoya. Wale, good morning. It's really good to have you join us right now. Now, palm oil, Nigeria used to be the #1 exporter of palm oil or palm produce generally, but now it is the 5th in the world after Indonesia, Malaysia, even Colombia, and all of that are all ahead of Nigeria. What do you think can change?
Well, it's because of we lack knowledge-based governance in Nigeria, because we have no reason to be importing some of this oil palm with what we have on the ground. We are just talking about the Malaysia that come to Nigeria and take our seeds and take it back to their own country with research and development. They were able to develop this thing into mega thing to be the largest producer of palm oil in the world. So what happened to Nigeria that will be having leadership that does not even have vision? Let me put it that way, because if you look at most of the things we be having in Nigeria is that political appointments. And the moment we keep on doing this, we are missing something.
But are we also putting too much emphasis on government when originally private companies are supposed to be the ones to get into this business, take advantage of it, knowing how lucrative it is?
You are right about that. But if there's no conducive environment for business to really come in, we have so many foreign investors that wanted to come to the country, but when you look at the infrastructure deficit we have in this country, no one will like to put their money.
What infrastructure is needed really to go into this business and harness the exportation of palm oil?
Security is there. Transportation is there. And funding, apart from them coming with their own funding, there should be something they call counterpart funds. That by the time they come with their funds, and for the state government or the federal government to put in their own counterpart funds, is always a problem. So the infrastructure deficit is a key. And that is why we need visionary leaders that is going to take us to the next level. Without that, we keep on just dancing around, and you'll be surprised that as time goes on, cassava will be imported into the country. If care is not taken the same way, we'll be taking all our crude oil outside the country and refining and come and sell it to us. The same thing that is being happening to the palm oil now. You can imagine what the PZ and the largest producer of this palm oil from Malaysia, now they have a tank farm in Benin Republic, in the Cotonou. They keep on bringing this thing to the country because of the deficit, because we could not be able to meet the demand of our own consumptions. And that is why we have a deficit of about 700,000 metric tons. And by the time this thing keep on continuing, see, some people are there benefiting from this thing. They benefit from the hardship of this country. And that is why they are not even really looking to make sure that they do the right thing. I'll give you an example. I remember in 2011, there's a consultant from Malaysia, Lost Promotions. They came to Nigeria with all the largest producer of all this palm oil from Malaysia, and the Minister of Agriculture and the own Minister of Agriculture were here. They chose Ogun State. There's something we call palm oil refineries. It's going to cost about $2.8 billion. They wanted to sell this to Ogun State. Guess what? There's a fighting between the ministries. They couldn't see the state governor. So these people, they went back to Malaysia. And at the same time,
politics?
The politics. So now, with what is happening now, we approach the new governor-elect now, and it's buying to it. In the next 2 years, you see what will happen in Ogun State.
All right, we look forward to greater days for the economy, because we understand that a barrel of palm oil goes for about $573, and that is even more expensive than the crude oil that everyone is talking about.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much, Wale Oyekoya, for coming on the program. Thank you.
In the first quarter of this year alone, Nigeria imported a total of 112,480 metric tons of palm oil.
Nigeria's annual consumption is put at 2.4 million metric tons annually, but it currently produces between 1.7 to 1.8 million metric tons. The National Palm Produce Association of Nigeria says the importation and illegal smuggling of palm oil is making local producers lose $500 million annually.
The oil palm sector in Nigeria has witnessed a downturn, with Indonesia and Malaysia leading in the global production. But many are now calling for a repositioning of the sector as part of efforts to diversify the economy. Joining me now is the Chief Executive Officer, Bama Farms, Wale Oyekoya. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Now we have about 15 states, Edo, Enugu, Imo, Ekiti, Bayelsa, that are said to be states that produce palm oil, yet we can only contribute a meager 1.4% into the global market. What is going on? What is wrong?
As I said, it's because we lack knowledge-based people to really manage the sectors, and agri sector is not something that we need to toy with, because this is what really earns us a whole lot of to increase our GDP and create employment. And by so doing, I'm just expecting, especially the new coming governors, the newly elected governors from like the Ondo, Ogun, and Oyo State, to really Lagos, Ogun, Oyo State, to really put the right people in the position. And
when you say right people, yes, how do you mean?
Like if you see what is around, the last time we have a formidable leader in the agri sector is when we have Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Okay. You know, he's a technocrat and he knows what he's doing. And if you look at all the policy that he put on the ground, everything has been rubbished by politicians, by what the person we have as the Minister for Agriculture. I'm not saying the man is not doing his best, but we need somebody that is really up to the par. And at the same time, we need to copy what Malaysia have done to us by taking our seed, and at the same time, to practice the palm oil industrial hub. That is what they practice in Malaysia. And they have to be able to revisit the Land Use Act. This is the only way that we can be able to do much in the agricultural sector. And this incoming governor, we can't be leaving everything to the federal government, to the central. We have to talk about the state governors that have a whole lot to do, because this is the people that really move to the citizens.
Now this is where we can begin to look for a revolution in that sector. But some have also talked about ensuring that there is a ban when it comes to importation. Sure. So then how do we now bridge the gap or the deficit if we are saying there should be a ban?
It's just by increasing our production. Look at the deficit of about 700,000 metric tons that we're having. And if we are not be able to produce for ourselves, how are we going to export? And we are supposed to be exporting some of these things to really to improve on our foreign reserves. And this is the more reason that we need to have what we call farm settlements. We used to have it before, where we have a farm settlement in all the senatorial districts. And thank God that with the state, the incoming governor of Ogun State, we are able to talk to him. He was ready to really improve on the oil palm sector, the rice sector, and the cassava plantation. And we need listening leaders in order for us to move this sector forward. And by so doing, you need to really support with funds. Without funds, there's nothing you can do. And we have to really have a stable policy. Without a sustainable policy that is going to really carry on the policy, we keep on dancing round and round. And at the same time, to improve on the infrastructure to some of these farm estates. We call it industrial estates, industrial agro-processing estate, which is like what they have in Imota in Lagos State, but it's only have not been really be able to take up. So by the time we have all these industrial hubs of all this agro-allied, then a lot of people will come in. Then we have a lot of people coming to add value. This is what we call value chains. A lot of youth will be able to be employed. At the same time, we'll be able to have enough to go around, and before we could be thinking about exporting, because there's no point when you cannot feed your own people and you wanted to export.
All right. Wale Oyekoya, thank you so much for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.